Welcome, beautiful soul. My name is Rose, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Before we begin, take a deep breath and allow yourself to relax. You don't need to force yourself to think about anyone or anything. Just listen to the message and notice what naturally resonates with your heart. Today's reading carries a very specific emotional energy, why they started pulling away from you. If someone suddenly became distant, stopped communicating the way they used to, became quieter, or seemed to create an emotional wall between you, this reading may give you a different perspective on what was happening beneath the surface. Because sometimes pulling away doesn't mean someone stopped caring. Now, let's begin. The first thing I feel around this connection is emotional overwhelm. This person may have started feeling something that they weren't prepared for. At first, everything may have felt simple. They could talk to you naturally. They could joke with you. They could spend time with you without overthinking every interaction. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Their feelings became deeper. And once their emotions became deeper, they started thinking differently about the connection. Suddenly, every conversation had more meaning. Every little interaction stayed in their mind longer. They began wondering what you really thought about them. They started analyzing your words. They noticed your reactions. They may have even started worrying about losing you before they ever truly had you. And that fear can make someone behave strangely. Instead of moving closer, they move backward. Instead of expressing their feelings, they become quiet. Instead of asking for reassurance, they create distance. And this is what I feel happened here. They started pulling away because they didn't know what to do with everything they were feeling. There is a strong sense that this person wanted emotional control. They wanted to convince themselves that they were not becoming attached. Maybe they told themselves, I need to slow this down. Maybe they thought, I'm getting too emotionally involved. Or perhaps they started thinking, what if this ends badly? So they created space. They thought distance would make their feelings smaller. But it may have done the opposite. The more distance they created, the more they noticed your absence. And that's something they may not have expected. When you were always there, they could take your presence for granted. But when they started pulling away, they began noticing all the little things they missed. Your messages, your voice, your attention, the way you made them feel understood. The comfort of knowing that someone genuinely cared. And now there may be moments when they look at their phone and wonder whether they should reach out. They may type something, read it again, delete it, then decide not to send anything. This person may be fighting a battle between their heart and their mind. Their heart says go back, their mind says stay away. And when those two sides constantly fight, silence becomes the easiest option. But I want you to understand something important. Their withdrawal was not necessarily caused by something you did wrong. For some of you, they may have created distance because they felt insecure. They may have wondered whether they were enough for you. They could have compared themselves to people from your past or people around you. They may have thought you deserved someone better, and instead of asking you how you truly felt, they made assumptions. That is one of the biggest messages coming through. They assumed. They assumed you would eventually lose interest. They assumed you had other options. They assumed that if they became vulnerable, you might reject them. And rather than risk hearing an answer they didn't want, they chose not to ask. So they protected themselves before anything had actually happened. That is why their behavior may have felt confusing. You were experiencing their withdrawal while they were experiencing their fear. You were wondering, why are they suddenly acting differently? While internally, they may have been asking themselves, how do I protect my heart? And this created a cycle. The more they cared, the more afraid they became. The more afraid they became, the more they pulled away. The more they pulled away, the more they missed you. And the more they missed you, the harder it became to admit what they were feeling. There is also an energy of pride here. This person may not like appearing emotionally vulnerable. They may be someone who prefers to appear strong, independent, and unaffected. Even when something hurts them deeply, they may act as though everything is fine. They don't want you to know how much power your presence has over their emotions, so they hide it. They become casual. They may respond less enthusiastically. They may act busy. They may give you the impression that they don't care. But behind closed doors, their thoughts may be very different. There may be a part of them that keeps asking, did I ruin this? They may wonder whether you noticed their change. They may wonder whether you became disappointed in them. And they may even wonder whether you have already moved on emotionally. For some of you, they may be waiting for a sign from you. Not necessarily because they don't want to make the first move, but because they are afraid of being rejected. They want to know that the door is still slightly open. But here is where your energy matters. You should not have to chase someone simply to prove that you care. If they created the distance, they also have a responsibility to understand what that distance caused. Love requires communication. Feelings alone are not enough. Someone can miss you deeply and still fail to give you what you need. Someone can care about you and still be emotionally unavailable. So this reading is not asking you to excuse their behavior. It is simply showing you what may have been underneath it. And I feel this person is beginning to understand the consequences of their actions. There is a realization happening. They may be thinking about how different things could have been if they had communicated honestly. Perhaps they realize that pulling away didn't make the feelings disappear. Instead, it created confusion. It left you questioning everything, and they may now regret that. There is an energy of wanting to explain. They may eventually want to tell you why they changed. They might say something simple at first. They may not immediately reveal everything. Perhaps they will start with, "I've been dealing with a lot," or "I didn't know how to handle things," or even, "I needed some time." But underneath those words could be a much deeper confession. "I was scared. I cared more than I wanted to admit. I didn't know whether you felt the same. I thought creating distance would protect me." And for some of you, that conversation may happen unexpectedly. You may not even be thinking about them when they reach out. It could happen during an ordinary moment. A simple message, a reaction to something you post, a casual question, or a conversation that begins with something completely unrelated. But the energy gradually becomes more emotional. They may finally reveal something they have been keeping inside. And when they do, don't rush to give them the answer they want. Listen, observe, feel the energy behind their words. Ask yourself whether they are genuinely ready to communicate differently. Because if someone returns, the goal shouldn't simply be to restart the old cycle. The goal should be to create something healthier than what existed before. You have changed through this experience too. Perhaps this distance taught you something about yourself. Maybe you discovered that you are stronger than you thought. Maybe you stopped chasing explanations. Maybe you learned how to sit with uncertainty without allowing it to destroy your peace. And perhaps most importantly, you learned that someone's withdrawal doesn't determine your worth. You were not suddenly less lovable because someone became distant. You did not become less valuable because someone couldn't communicate. Their fear belongs to them. Their emotional limitations belong to them. You don't have to carry them. And I feel this is one of the biggest lessons surrounding this connection. You can love someone without chasing them. You can miss someone without abandoning yourself. You can care about someone while still maintaining boundaries. And you can leave space for reconciliation without putting your entire life on hold. If this person truly wants to come closer again, they will eventually have to move beyond fear. They will have to stop hiding behind silence. They will have to communicate. And they will have to understand that closeness requires vulnerability. There is no real intimacy without honesty. You cannot build something meaningful while constantly pretending that nothing matters. And I feel this person is slowly learning that. They may still be guarded. They may still move slowly. But there is a growing awareness inside them that distance did not solve what they were feeling. It only made them more aware of it. They may now be realizing that sometimes the person you're trying to protect yourself from is actually the person you wish you could feel safe with. And that realization can be powerful. So if you've been wondering, why did they start pulling away from me? The answer may be much more complicated than rejection. It may have been fear. It may have been insecurity. It may have been emotional overwhelm. It may have been their past influencing the present. It may have been the fear of becoming too attached. Or it may simply have been that they didn't know how to handle the depth of the connection. But remember, understanding the reason doesn't mean you have to wait forever. Your life continues. Your growth continues. Your happiness continues. And if this person is meant to be part of your next chapter, they will have to meet you with greater honesty than before. You don't need to convince them. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to prove your value. Let them show you what they are capable of. Let their actions speak. And if they finally come forward, allow yourself to listen with an open heart, but also with an awakened mind. As we close this reading, I want you to remember one thing. Sometimes people pull away because they don't know how to stay. Sometimes they distance themselves because closeness makes them confront emotions they've been avoiding. And sometimes the silence you experienced wasn't the absence of feeling, it was the presence of fear. But whatever their reason was, you deserve clarity. You deserve consistency. You deserve someone who doesn't make you question whether you matter. So take a deep breath. Release the need to control what happens next. If they have something they need to say, let them find the courage to say it. If they want to return, let them take the steps. And if life is guiding you somewhere else, trust that too. You are not losing yourself while waiting for someone else to find themselves. You are becoming stronger. You are becoming wiser. And you are learning to recognize the difference between someone who simply misses you and someone who is truly ready to show up for you. This is Rose, and I hope this reading brought you the clarity your heart needed today. Take what resonates, gently leave what doesn't, and remember, you never have to chase what is genuinely meant to meet you halfway. Until the next reading, protect your peace, trust your intuition, and never forget how worthy you are of honest and consistent love.